Welcome back to the channel Top Coin. Everyone, today we are diving deep into the world of British coinage and uncovering the fascinating history and value of a coin that millions of people might have held in their hands without ever knowing its story. The 1997 United Kingdom 2p coin. Now at first glance, a 2p coin might not look like much. It is small, copper colored and often ignored in our change, but behind this little coin lies a history that stretches back centuries and a collector market that can sometimes turn ordinary-looking coins into valuable treasures worth far more than their face value. So let us go back to the beginning. The United Kingdom introduced the 2p coin in 1971 when Britain made the switch to decimal currency. The coin was originally struck in bronze and displayed the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich plumes encircled by a coronet with the motto ICHDN, meaning I serve this. Design became iconic and appeared on the coin for decades. The reverse side, of course, carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Fast forward to the year 1997, a year that stands out in the history of this coin for more reasons than one. Britain was moving into the modern era. The Royal Mint was preparing for major changes that would eventually see the design of coins reshaped and updated, but 1997 remains a key year for the 2p because it represents the last of a long era before changes in composition and design began to take hold. The 1997 2p coin is still made of bronze, unlike the later issues which switched to copper-plated steel in 1992. Most people do not realize that by 1992 the Royal Mint had already changed the metal composition to save money. So when we talk about the 1997 coin, we are looking at one of the common circulation pieces from that time. But what makes it fascinating is that collectors often hunt for high-quality, uncirculated examples or coins with special striking features such as proof issues or error coins. One of the most interesting things about the 1997 2p is the fact that it still carries the Makhlouf portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This design shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a very detailed portrait that remained on coins from 1985 to 1997. So the 1997 2p is actually the final year of issue for this particular portrait. That alone makes it historically significant, because from 1998 onwards the coin featured the Ian Rank Broadley portrait, a design many of us know very well. So when you hold a 1997 2p, you are holding the very last of the Makhlouf era coins. Now let us talk about value. After all, that is what most of you are waiting for. What is the 1997 2p worth today in the market? Well, for the majority of coins found in circulation, the value will sadly remain just 2p. Millions of them were minted and they are very common. However, the story does not end there, because certain versions of the 1997 coin can fetch far more than face value. If you happen to find a proof version struck for collectors in pristine condition, these coins can sell for a few pounds depending on quality, some reaching around £5 to £10 for perfect examples in original Royal Mint packaging. But the real money comes with rare errors and uncirculated specimens. If a coin has an off-center strike or a misprint in the lettering or any minting flaw, collectors will pay a premium in auctions. There have been cases where unusual minting errors have sold for £30 to £50 or even higher depending on how dramatic the mistake is. Now let us go deeper into market trends. As of today, collectors worldwide are becoming more interested in late 20th century coins. This is because older Victorian and Edwardian coins are already highly collected and expensive. So many numismatists are now turning to coins from the 1970s through the 1990s, and demand is steadily rising. That means even ordinary looking 2p coins from 1997 can see gradual increases in value, especially if kept in brilliant uncirculated condition. In protective cases, there are collectors who are trying to build complete date runs, meaning one coin from every year, and 1997 plays a crucial role as the final Makhlouf portrait year. Another thing to keep in mind is grading. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. If your coin is scratched, worn or discolored, it is likely only worth its face value. But if you have a coin that looks as though it just came from the mint, shiny, flawless, with no marks whatsoever, it could be graded by a professional service, and once graded, high examples can command impressive prices. Collectors will pay 10 to 20 times face value for the highest graded examples. So the question you might be asking is, should you keep your 1997 2p coin? The answer is yes. Always keep unusual looking coins or coins from transition years like this one, because as time goes by and as fewer perfect examples remain in circulation, the value slowly climbs. Now let us touch briefly on the cultural importance of this coin. In the late 1990s, Britain was undergoing huge cultural and political changes. 1997 was the year Tony Blair became Prime Minister. It was the year of the tragic passing of Princess Diana, and it was a time of transformation for the United Kingdom in many ways. Coins like the 1997 2p are little time capsules holding within them not just metal but memory. When you pick one up, you are reminded of the events, the fashions, the music and the history of that year. So to sum it all up, the 1997 2p coin may not make you rich overnight, but it is far from worthless. It represents the end of the Makhlouf portrait era. It exists both in ordinary circulation form and in proof collector sets, and in the right condition or with rare minting errors it can sell for far more than 2p in today's market, anywhere from a couple of pounds to over £50. Depending on rarity and grade, collectors are paying more attention to these coins every year, and who knows, in the future the humble 1997 2p might be one of the most sought after coins of the late 20th century. So the next time you empty your pockets or go through your change, do not ignore that shiny copper coin. Take a closer look, because it might just be hiding a small treasure in plain sight. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1997 United Kingdom 2p coin. If you like learning about rare and collectible coins, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment about what coin you would like me to cover next. Today we are going deep into the history, the design, the hidden details, and the current market value of the 1993 2p coin. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you might be running to check your coin jar. The 2p coin, often just called the 2p, was first introduced in the United Kingdom back in 1971 when the country switched to decimal currency. It was part of a brand new set of coins designed to make decimalization smoother for the British public. The 2p coin is made of bronze, small in size but large in history, and it has always featured the words new pence, or later simply 2p. Now, when we talk about the year 1993, things get very interesting. By this point, the 2p coin had already gone through a couple of design changes. From 1971 until 1981, the inscription on the coin read new pence. After 1982, the wording was changed to 2p, and that design continued through the 1990s. But the year 1993 stands out because it marked a period of relatively low mintages compared to some earlier years. That makes certain examples of the coin more desirable to collectors. On the obverse side of the 1993 2p coin, we find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This was the third definitive portrait created by sculptor Raphael Makhlouf. It shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown worn during the annual state opening of Parliament. This portrait was used on coins from 1985 to 1997, so if you see this particular design, you know your coin is from that era. On the reverse side, we see the well-known badge of the Prince of Wales. This features 3 ostrich feathers rising through a coronet with a ribbon that carries the German motto ICHDN, which translates to I serve. This design, created by Christopher Ironside, has been a constant on the 2p coin for decades, making it instantly recognizable. Now let us focus specifically on 1993. Not all 2p coins are rare, but some dates are much scarcer than others. In 1993, the Royal Mint struck the coin primarily for circulation, but the numbers were far smaller than in more common years such as the 1970s or early 1980s. In fact, the mintage for the 1993 2p was only around 100 million coins, which sounds like a lot, but compared to other years that often reached hundreds of millions, it makes 1993 an interesting year for collectors. What really excites numismatists and coin hunters, however, are error coins, or those struck in special sets. Occasionally, a small batch of coins might feature slight variations in design, metal quality, or strike strength. These unusual examples can be worth far more than their face value. For instance, if you find a 1993 2p in absolutely pristine uncirculated condition, it could fetch a surprising premium. So how much is a 1993 2p coin worth today? Well, it depends on condition and rarity. A normal circulated 1993 2p will usually be worth just its face value of 2p, because millions were made and they are still relatively common in circulation. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no wear and tear and has been carefully preserved, collectors may pay between £1 and £5 for it. Now, if you happen to own a proof version of the 1993 2p, which was struck to a much higher quality for collector sets, the value can jump significantly. Proof coins can sell for £10, £20, or sometimes even higher depending on demand and the condition of the set they were issued in. And of course, if an error coin exists from this year, such as a misstrike, offset strike, or unusual die error, then the value could be much higher, even reaching into the hundreds of pounds if a collector is keen to own it. You might be wondering why collectors even care about a small coin like the 1993 2p. The answer lies in history, scarcity, and the love of building complete coin sets. Serious collectors often aim to own one example from every year of issue. If a certain year is harder to find, like 1993 compared to more common dates, then that year becomes a key part of the collection. There is also a nostalgic factor. People love holding onto coins from the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, especially now that we have entered the reign of King Charles III. Coins from her era carry extra significance, and this will only increase as time goes on. So what should you do if you have a 1993 2p coin? First, check the condition. If it looks dull, scratched, or well used, it is likely just worth face value. But if it looks shiny, sharp, and new, it might be an uncirculated or even proof coin. Next, check for any unusual features such as double striking, spelling errors, or other minting mistakes. These could make your coin very valuable indeed. It is also worth remembering that coin collecting is not just about money. Even if your 1993 2p is not rare, it is still a piece of history that connects you to a fascinating story of British currency. So there you have it. The 1993 United Kingdom 2p coin may not make you rich overnight, but it holds a fascinating place in the history of decimal currency. For most people, it is still just worth 2p. But for collectors, especially if the coin is uncirculated, proof, or features a minting error, it can be worth far more. If you have one at home, take a closer look, because you never know what hidden treasures might be sitting in your pocket change. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1993 2p coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin videos, and let me know in the comments if you have ever found a rare coin in your change. Who knows, the next great discovery might be in your pocket right now. We are diving into the fascinating story of the 2p coin from the United Kingdom, minted in 2000, and for a coin that on the surface might look ordinary, but behind its copper-plated steel shine lies a history of design changes, minting quirks, and surprising values in today's collector's market. The 2p coin, or 2p as many in the UK call it, was first introduced in 1971 when Britain switched to decimal currency. This moment, known as Decimal Day, replaced the old pounds, shillings and pence system. With the modern decimal currency we know today, the 2p coin was part of that first generation of decimal coins, and over the decades it has been in every pocket, purse and piggy bank across the country. Now the 2004 2p coin may not be one of the rarest, but it holds a special place in the history of British coinage. Let us start by talking about its design. On the reverse side of the coin you will find the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet with the German motto ICHDN, which translates to I serve. This design was created by Christopher Ironside, one of the most respected designers in British numismatic history. On the obverse, of course, you will see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank. Broadly, this portrait was introduced in 1998 and used until 2015. It shows Her Majesty with a dignified crown and a strong profile that became iconic around the world. But here is where things start to get interesting. The story of 2p coins is not only about design but about the subtle changes in the metal itself. For decades 2p coins were made from bronze, but starting in 1992 they were changed to copper-plated steel. The 2004 coin is part of this modern series, so if you hold a magnet to it you will notice it sticks. That is one way collectors quickly identify the difference between earlier bronze issues and later steel issues. Now you might be wondering if the 2004 2p coin is rare or valuable, and the truth is most ordinary circulation coins are worth face value, but in the world of coin collecting the story is never that simple. There are always special varieties, minting errors and collector demand that push the price far higher than you would expect. For example, some 2p coins carry the old inscription new pence instead of 2p. This was only used from 1971 until 1981, but due to mistakes a few coins dated later were struck with the old legend. If you ever find a 2004 coin that carries the wrong wording, it would be an extraordinary mint error worth a significant sum. Errors like double striking, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even wrong planchette strikes can transform a humble 2p into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds. Let us talk about the market today. In the United Kingdom, collectors are always hunting through their change, and on online auction sites the 2004 2p in normal circulated condition sells for its face value 2p, however uncirculated. Examples or those in brilliant uncirculated presentation packs can fetch £1 to £2 depending on condition that is already 100 times its face value, but if you have one graded by a professional service such as NGC or PCGS and it comes back as mint state 65 or higher, the price can go even further, with some fetching up to £5, £10 or more, simply because top grade examples are much harder to find. But the real excitement comes from error coins collectors love: unusual mistakes, and the market pays handsomely. A well-known example of a wrong legend 2p coin has sold for several £100s in the past, while unique errors like off-metal strikes can reach into the thousands. Although no major 2004 2p errors have made headlines yet, that does not mean they are not out there in drawers, jars or coin albums waiting to be discovered. So why do people treasure these coins? The answer is simple: coins are history in your hand. They tell the story of a nation. They connect us to important events and rulers. They remind us of decimalization, of the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II, of the artistry of designers like Ironside and Rank Broadley, and of the everyday economy where a tiny copper-colored disc could buy a sweet or help make exact change at the corner shop. Collectors today look not only for rarity but also for stories, and the 2004 2p coin carries with it the story of transition, the story of modern steel coinage, the story of how even in the 21st century minting errors can slip through and create valuable treasures. It teaches us that no coin is ever too small or too ordinary to be looked at carefully. Now, if you are checking your own coins, here is some advice: always look for unusual features. First, examine the wording on the reverse. Does it say 2p as it should, or is there a rare mistake? Next, look at the alignment and strike quality. Do the edges look clean, or is there doubling or misalignment? Take a magnet and see if it reacts as it should. Check the coin's condition. Is it bright and crisp with all details visible, or is it worn and dull? Collectors always pay more for coins in the best condition. And finally, if you believe you have something special, consider sending it to a grading service, or at least listing it on an auction site to see if collectors bid higher than you expect. At the time of recording, the general market value for a circulated 2004 2p coin is face value £2. Brilliant uncirculated coins are worth between £1 and £3, and graded mint state examples can fetch around £5 to £10. Errors, if discovered, can range anywhere from £50 to several £100s or more, depending on the nature and rarity of the mistake. So the next time you come across a 2004 2p coin, do not just toss it aside. Take a close look. Who knows, you might be holding a hidden treasure worth far more than its small face value. And that is the fascinating world of the 2004 2p coin from the United Kingdom. Its history, its design, its quirks, and its surprising value in today's market. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more discoveries, and share it with your fellow collectors. Remember, every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth a lot more than you think. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of British coins, and today's spotlight is on a small but mighty piece of money that could be worth much more than you think: the 2p coin from the year 2005 in the United Kingdom. At first glance, it might look like just another ordinary copper coin you could find lying in your change, but hidden within its history, design, and rarity are details that collectors around the world find extremely interesting and in some cases incredibly valuable. So let us take a journey together into the history, the design features, the minting details, and of course the potential value of the 2005 2p coin. Let's start at the very beginning. The 2p coin was first introduced into circulation in 1971, the year when the United Kingdom switched to decimal currency. Before then, Britain used pounds, shillings, and pence in a much more complicated system. Decimalization simplified everything, and along with it came new coins, including the 2p. The design chosen for the 2p was the badge of the Prince of Wales. This design features a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, and beneath it a ribbon inscribed with the famous German motto ICHDN, which translates to I serve. This design has been on the coin since its introduction in 1971, and it became instantly recognizable across the UK. Now, the year 2005 might not sound particularly ancient, but in the world of coin collecting, every year can tell its own story. In 2005, the 2p coin continued with the copper-plated steel composition, which had been introduced in 1992. Before that, 2p coins were made of bronze, but because of rising metal prices, the Royal Mint switched to copper-plated steel. So what makes the 2005 2p coin stand out, and why do collectors care about it? The key is in details such as mintage numbers, potential errors, and the overall condition of surviving coins. The Royal Mint struck millions of 2p coins in 2005 for everyday circulation, but as With many modern coins, not every piece survives in pristine condition. The coins that do survive in near-perfect condition, especially those graded as uncirculated or in proof sets, can fetch a surprising amount on the market. Another important point to mention is that collectors are always on the lookout for error coins. These are coins that were struck with mistakes during the minting process, for example an off-center strike, doubling in the lettering, or missing details. If such an error exists on a 2005 2 pence, it can multiply its value many times over. When we look at the market value of the 2005 2 pence coin, the general circulated examples, the ones you can still find in your change, are usually worth their face value of 2 pence. But here's the exciting part: when these coins appear in uncirculated condition or in proof sets, they can be valued at several pounds each, depending on the quality. They can fetch between £2 to as much as £20 or more if they are graded highly by professional coin grading services in auctions and online marketplaces such as eBay or numismatic websites. Collectors sometimes pay a premium for coins that are in absolutely flawless condition. These coins can climb even higher in value, reaching into the range of £50 or more if they are particularly rare in that condition. Now let us talk about how to identify a valuable 2005 2 pence coin. The first step is to examine the coin surface. A coin with sharp edges, clear lettering and no scratches or damage is considered uncirculated, and this instantly makes it more valuable. The next step is to look for any unusual features that might signal an error coin, for example a misaligned design, doubled letters on the motto, or even unusual coloring caused by a striking issue. These tiny details can mean the difference between a coin worth 2 pence and one worth hundreds of pounds. Another interesting fact is that coin collectors love complete sets. That means that if you happen to have a 2 pence coin from 2005 as part of a proof set in its original Royal Mint packaging, then its value increases significantly. Proof coins are specially made with polished dies and blanks to give them a mirror-like finish. They are not intended for circulation and are produced in much smaller numbers, making them much more desirable among collectors. So how much could you expect to get today if you have a 2005 2 pence coin in general circulated examples are worth face value? Uncirculated examples can sell anywhere between £2 and £5. Exceptional uncirculated or mint state graded coins can reach £10 to £20 or more. Proof coins in official packaging can sell for £30, £50 or sometimes higher. And of course, error coins, if you are lucky enough to own one, could skyrocket in price depending on the type of error and the demand among collectors. The coin market is also very dynamic. Prices can rise as collectors become more interested in particular years or designs. For example, when the Royal Mint changed the reverse design of UK coins in 2008, collectors suddenly became much more interested in earlier coins like the 2005 issues because they represented the last years of the traditional design. So the 2005 2 pence coin has gained additional significance as part of the final years of the old design series. In conclusion, while most 2005 2 pence coins you come across in circulation may only be worth their face value, there are special cases where the value can increase dramatically. If you find an uncirculated coin, a proof coin, or even better, an error coin, you could be holding a small but very valuable piece of numismatic history. So check your change, examine your coin collections, and see if you have a 2005 2 pence coin lying around. It may just surprise you with its hidden value. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 2005 United Kingdom 2 pence coin, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating coin stories, and leave a comment below letting me know if you have one of these coins in your collection. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video where we uncover more hidden treasures from the world of coins and currency.